Welcome to my Stories Red channel. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Also, please like and share your comments. We make new videos with interesting stories every day.
How can I, 22F, make my husband, 37M, understand it was a marriage of convenience, that I really love him? We got married almost 4 years ago because it was the only way for me to be safe. My father was an abusive and extremely conservative man. He raised me by himself and made my childhood a nightmare. He was sick in the head. He was very religious. He was interested in a religion and culture that were not even ours, and that made him change completely. He didn't want me to have any kind of relationship with boys. That's why I was homeschooled. But when I was almost 19, I tried to escape from home, and when he realized he did horrible things to me, that's when I met my now husband. He is a lawyer and he was our neighbor, so he tried to help me, and thanks to him I was able to go to college and have a safe place to live. But that didn't last long, because soon my father found out where I lived, and he and his friends, who practiced the same religion as him, began to threaten my husband and me. And being honest, the laws in my country are useless. All I could do was get a restraining order, but every time he violated that order, nobody did anything, not even the police. But what could they do? My father has really important friends, and thanks to their power they always saved him. So I ended up getting married so I could move to my husband's country and be safe. In all these years he never took advantage of me. He always treated me as if he were my tutor. He always encouraged me to go to college and get a good job so that I could be independent, and in a certain way now I am. I'll turn 23 this month. I graduated and I have a very well-paid job that I got myself, a job with which I could rent an apartment and finally move out of his house. But I don't want to do that. I want to be his wife, I mean his real wife, and he knows it because a few days ago we had sex for the first time, and I told him I loved him, but he said that is not true, that I'm really young, and that I only say that I love him because he helped me in the past and because he was the first man I slept with. But that's not true. I thank him for everything he did for me, but I didn't fall in love with him because of that. I love him because in these years I got to know him better and I fell in love with everything about him. He is the sweetest, kindest, funniest, smartest and beautiful man I have ever met. We talked a lot about it, and he told me that he loves me too, but that nothing will ever happen between us because of our ages, that it was best to forget what happened. But I don't want that. How can I let him know that I really love him and that I want to try to make this marriage really work? Some of you messaged me to post an update, and I thought it was the right time to do so. So here I am. After my post, my husband, 38M, and I, 23F, talked a lot about our future. He told me to move out and try to live my life without him so that I could experience being independent for once, but I didn't want to. I told him that I was happy with the life I had with him, and that I wanted our marriage to work. So after long talks, we literally spent weeks talking about it. He's not very easy to convince, haha. We decided to give it a try, and it worked really well. I started going to therapy, because I knew I had a few wounds from the past that needed to heal, and it was the best decision I made in my whole life. So thanks to everyone who told me I should go to therapy. It was the best advice I read. A few months after making the decision to make our marriage work, I got pregnant, and therapy was what helped me the most at that time. Because to be honest, when I found out, it was not a happy moment. I was scared of being a horrible parent like mine, and if it hadn't been for therapy, I don't know if I would have understood that I am not them, and that my daughter will be safe with me and her dad because we both love her and we will protect her from everything we can. Also, quarantine made everything easier because we spent the whole day together, and it was definitely a great help in making our relationship stronger. I really liked spending those months alone, the two of us, because despite the little arguments, not everything is perfect as it seems. I've fallen in love with him even more, and I'm 100% sure that I want to spend the rest of my life with him. And I know I don't love him for what he did for me in the past. I'll always be grateful for that, but I don't love him for that. I love him because he is always trying to make me laugh with silly jokes, because he is the sweetest and kindest man I have ever met. I love him because he is selfless, and because he always listens to me even when I know he had a long and exhausting day. He is always there for me. But what makes me love him the most is seeing him so excited for our baby, knowing that soon we will be a family. The family I always dreamed of melts my heart. So things are definitely better now, and I couldn't ask for someone better to spend the rest of my life with. Thanks to all the people who messaged me and gave me amazing advice. I appreciate it with all my heart because those advice really helped me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Comments. Well, I perfectly understand the husband's hesitation. Not easy to distinguish if he's taking advantage of her, even if she assures him it's not the case. He does sound like a great guy for taking all of this into consideration, however, and I'm glad she's in therapy. This whole thing might just work. Well, he got her out of an abusive situation, helped her go to college and become financially independent, encouraged her to move out and meet people, and nothing happened between them until recently. I'd argue he's a pretty good guy. It doesn't sound like he ever took advantage of her or intended to. It's also great to see that she saw a therapist. That would have been my suggestion as well. I don't know if this will work out long term. Relationships can have issues if one person involved was never independent or single as an adult. But she does have education and a good job, so she would be able to leave later down the line if things didn't work out. My main suggestion would be maybe for him to see a therapist as well, so he can figure out his feelings. And she should continue to have therapy as well. OFC. That's a very, very American perspective. In religious and or developing countries, the vast majority of people are never independent. The move straight from parents to spouses. Her feelings may be genuine, who knows? But it really just sounds like she swapped an abusive father for a caring father figure, and mistook that for romantic love. Whatever, if they both end up happy, then what harm is it? Hopefully that's how it turns out, and she doesn't hit 30 and start to resent him because she feels like she never had an opportunity to be independent. My husband basically rescued me from an abusive home. I loved him before but honestly grew to love him even more. We just celebrated 15 years together and have a child together. I've never regretted my decision, so hopefully OP gets her happy ending too.